Hi, I'm Sarah Delaney from One Big Happy Yarn Company, here with our special guest, Ashlee Elle from the Dream Crochet. Hi, Ashlee.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Everybody needs some color in their lives.
Oh,
and that is like the one thing that you are like so good at is all this wonderful, colorful crochet. I'm so glad you're here to share it with us.
Thank you, I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So the first project we're gonna work on is the Drawstring Skirt.
Yes.
Which I think starts out fairly simply, and then we'll learn this fantastic stitch that's going to run through all three of the projects we're going to work on with Ashlee. Fantastic drawstring, and then a pretty simple edging, but the secret with this project is that it can become other projects.
Yes, entirely.
I'm very excited to see this. So why don't we talk about the materials that we're going to need for this project, and then we can get started.
That sounds great.
So supplies for these projects. Well, for the skirt to start with, we're using Berroco Comfort, which is 50% acrylic and 50% nylon, so it's totally washable and dryable. Just throw it in with the regular laundry, and it's so durable. And the colors are fantastic, which helps for these projects.
Entirely.
So there's 3 colors, and how many skeins of yarn did we work through for the skirt?
I used about 2 for each color.
Okay, so that'll be in your kit if you want to pick it up, or you can also visit MissouriQuiltCo.com and pick out your own colors. So 6 skeins altogether, 2 of each color. Crochet hook is an H8 5mm crochet hook. We're both using boy hooks, but whatever hook makes you happy. Scissors, tape measure, tapestry needles, anything else?
That's about it. And your imagination and creativity. And you're all good to go.
I love it. All right, Ashlee, let's hop in. Walk us through the beginning.
So what we're going to do is I like to work in multiples of 3. So I measured out for 72 stitches for my first chain. So what I want to do is I'm going to start my first chain of 72 stitches to my waist measurements.
Great. So the details of that will all be in your pattern. So we'll walk you through how to measure and then how to figure out how many stitches your measurement equals to for your starting chain. I'm gonna get started too. I can't just sit here and not crochet while somebody's sitting next to me crocheting. I don't know about you, but I can't watch somebody crochet and not do it myself.
All right, so we'll get to the end of the chain. So once you've made your chain of your equal amount of 3 stitches to your waist measurements, what you wanna do is you're gonna return to the very first stitch. And you'll be creating a slip stitch right into that first stitch. So after ending your last stitch, you're going to slip stitch right into the first one to create a circle for your chain.
So do you have any tips, Ashlee, to keep from twisting that chain, or does it matter if it's twisted a little bit?
I usually, when I go through the first round of half double crochets, which we'll be doing for the round, I try to twist it as I go along so that it maintains that straightened look to it.
Great.
Because it's very kind of, it likes to do its own thing when you try to flip stitch it. So I'm just like, you know what, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, so don't stress too much if that beginning chain twists a little bit.
Yes.
We'll just twist it back into place as we go.
So twist and shout. So what we're going to do is after connecting the first stitch to the last stitch by slip stitch, what we're going to do is we're going to start working in a round. So we're going to start with our turning chain. So I start with a half double crochet. So our turning chain will be a chain 2. So we do 1 and 2. And then into that very first stitch for our turning chain, we're going to create that half double crochet right into that first stitch.
I was doing a single.
Or you can do a single. You can. The best thing about crocheting too is like you can make it up as you go. Use whatever stitch you love.
There is that.
So for this first round, you will be doing 1 half double crochet for the entire round until you reach the very end, where you will slip stitch to start your second round.
So we're going to do a half double crochet into each chain?
Correct. For all of your, for this one, it'll be the 72 stitches. So half double crochet for the entire round for 72 stitches until you reach the very end.
Or whatever number of stitches for your size.
Correct.
Yeah. When you work into the chain, do you work under 1 strand or 2? Do you have a preferred method?
I tend to like to work under 2. So I tend to leave 1 at the bottom and just work in between leaving 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom.
Gotcha. So depending on the size you're making, it's going to take you a bit to work your way around in this first round. So go ahead and work those half double crochet stitches into the chain all the way around, and then meet us back here for the next step.
Yes. Alrighty, so I'm drawing near to the end of my very first round. I'm going to create these last few half double crochets. And this is where I like to straighten out my round, my circle. So I just kind of turn that little buddy around before I create my very last half double crochet. And I kind of use the tip of the hook right there to kind of guide my way through.
That is one of my favorite things about a crochet hook.
I love
that it's
it.
an actual hook.
It truly
And
is.
you can let the hook guide you through the stitch sometimes.
100%. That's what I love about it. It's like you can form it with your hands and use that hook to just guide that stitch right through. So now that we're at the very end, we're gonna slip stitch into the top stitch of your chain 2. So we're gonna once again use that hook. We're gonna create a slip stitch to close your very first round for your very first step.
Look at that. I'm making a tiny bracelet sized skirt. Just practicing with y'all, and then I'll make one for me.
So this is what it's gonna look like. Very first round. Now starting the second round, we're gonna start with a turning chain of 2 because we're working to create your drawstring openings. So this is where we're going to be skipping stitches and we're going to add a chain in. Now you can utilize it and add in as many openings as you desire. For this one, since I worked in multiples of 3, I did half double crochet into 2 stitches. You're going to chain 1 and then you're going to skip that 1 stitch and you're going to half double crochet and then following 2 stitches will cover the 3 stitches method that I utilize for the entire round. And that'll create your drawstring opening for the second part of the round for the band. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna start with your turning chain of 2, like we did for the first round, since we'll be working in half double crochet stitches. And then we're gonna create that 1 half double crochet stitch into the very first stitch. And then we're gonna create a second half double crochet into the following stitch. And this is where we're going to chain 1. You see right there, we're going to skip that 1 stitch because that's going to be our drawstring opening. So we're going to return to it at the very end of completing your entire skirt. And that's where we're going to insert the drawstring. So this is what it's creating for the second round. So after chaining 1, you're going to skip that 1 stitch. And into the following stitch, you're going to create your half double crochet stitch. And then once again, you're going to half double crochet into the following stitch.
So it's just a repeat of 3.
Yep, just a repeat of 3 for the entire round.
3 is the magic number in these
Yep.
projects. Oh,
And
this is pretty easy.
Oh yeah. This part I really, really love doing because I love creating little openings, and you can make it as wide and or as, small as the chain 1 as you desire. So you're going to create this method for the entire round until you reach the end.
Yeah, just keep working your way around in round 2. And then join us back here when you're ready to join round 2 and start round 3.
So now that we're reaching the very first end of the second round, creating our drawstring openings, we're going to create our last stitch right before creating, just like the very first round, we're going to slip stitch into the very first stitch of the turning chain. So once again, we're going to use our hook and we're just going to guide it through to create a slip stitch to close our second round. So we're going to be closing in on our second round and we're going to slip stitch into the very first chain 2 from the second round, from the very beginning of the round to close our second round.
Easy enough.
And now we're going to start our third round, which will be our final round to create the entire waistband. For this third round, we're going to mirror the first round by creating 1 half double crochet into all of the 72 stitches. We'll also be working into the chain 1 stitches to further finalize the entire waistband. So we're going to do our turning chain of a chain 2 for the half double crochet. And we're going to half double crochet right into that first stitch. And then we're going to half double crochet into every single stitch for the entire round of round 3 to finalize our waistband creation.
So when you get to that chain 1 space, do you actually work into the chain or into the space?
Oh yes, I work into the chain 1 space because I really like the way that it looks, and it really creates an opening for the drawstring. So when you're complete and it's the round is finalized, it just looks so much neater.
Nice. That makes that go a little bit quicker than trying to fiddle your way through the actual chain stitch.
Very true. Okay, so you're just going to create that for the entire round. You're going to create 1 half double crochet into every stitch. For this particular example, I worked 1 half double crochet into every 72 stitches that I started out with.
So depending on the size that you're making, your count will be higher or lower, but that'll be detailed in your pattern.
Drawing an end to round 3, we will be creating 1 last half double crochet into the stitch. We will be creating a slip stitch into the top of your chain 2 creation.
Yeah, that joins everything together really nice.
Okay. And then for this particular design, I fastened off completely because this is the part where you can get super creative.
Oh, it's time to change colors.
Yes.
Okay.
Now this is what your waistband will look like. And for the second round right here, where your chain 1 stitches or openings were, you will be guiding your drawstring right through this space.
Great. But we're not going to do that until towards the end.
Not to the very end.
Oh, we're just going to get to the colors now, right?
Yep. Okay, for your 4th round, we'll be starting our double crochet clusters. And this is where you can get super creative. You can use whatever color that you want. You can actually keep it the same color as well. I particularly wanted to add a little bit of pizzazz to it, so I decided to switch it up and add in another color. And I started with pink.
I like the color you chose.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to pull this in here and show everybody so that they have a little more understanding of the construction of the skirt. This is the waistband up here with the drawstring, which you can see is already in place. So if I turn it this way, this is the direction of construction. So we started at this edge. We created the eyelets for that drawstring, and now we're going to get into those cluster stitches and the colorful stripes so that I always sort of need like the blueprint, the architecture of the project in my head to understand the direction that I'm working in. So it's nice to sort of share that with you too.
Yes. Awesome. So we're going to start our 4th round, and I wanted to add in another color. So I started with pink, and I created my magic knot. And I'm going to rejoin at the 4th round. So at the very
So right back to where we were?
Yes, so
Okay.
right back to where we were. I'm going to insert my brand new yarn. Now since we'll be working in double crochets, we're going to do a turning chain of 3 to start our 4th round.
Okay. Oh, I see what you did. You put the slip knot on your hook first before you joined. I like that.
I like that there's so many different techniques that you can utilize, and it's just however you feel comfortable or however you want to design it, you know, just go with your own flow.
Nice.
Okay, so for the 4th round, we're going to do a turning chain of 4, since we're going to be doing double crochet clusters. So we're going to do a chain 3 for a turning chain. And into the very first stitch, we're going to create 1 double crochet. And now for this 4th round, what we're going to do is, since we worked in multiples of 3, we're going to count 1, 2, we're going to skip 2 stitches.
Okay.
And into the 3rd stitch, we're going to create 3 double crochets. And skipping the 2 will account to crocheting 3 times into the same stitch.
Oh yeah, that because those stitches are going to spread out.
Yes, which will help create the design. So what you're going to do is you're going to skip 2 stitches, and into your 3rd stitch for the entire round, you're going to create 3 double crochet stitches in order to create that cluster look.
Which seems like a lot of things to count and keep track of at first, but you get into a rhythm.
Yes.
Skip 2, 3 double crochets, skip 2, 3 double crochets. This round will be done before you know it.
And with the skipping of stitches, it gives that opening that we're going to work into for the following round.
So go ahead and work your way around in this 4th round, this first round of color, and then meet us back here to join it together.
So we're drawing an end to round 4. We're going to be creating our very last cluster for the round. So we're going to create the 3 double crochets into the last stitch. And what we're going to do, like we did for the other rounds as well, we're going to create a slip stitch into the very top stitch of the chain 3 to close the 4th round. So we're just going to close it like that.
Easy enough.
Yep. And now we're going to start round 5. Now this is where, you can switch colors or you can maintain the same color throughout. It's all up to you. Be experimental and have fun with it. So we're going to start round 5 with a chain 3 because we're continuing on with the double crochet stitch. We're going to do our chain 3. We're going to create 1 double crochet into that first stitch to mirror the previous round of round 4. And now we're going to be working in between your double crochet stitches. So what you want to do is you're going to work in between that space right here. And you're going to create 3 double crochet stitches into each space for the entire round.
Oh, in between the clusters.
In between the clusters.
Gotcha.
Now I love this technique because it's just, so smooth and so easy to find that opening where you can crochet into. It's a lot about feeling it.
Yeah, you can almost get to a point, where you don't have to look at what your hands are doing.
No. Again,
Almost.
turn on your favorite show or film and just kind of zone out. It's all about feeling and guiding through and working in between that opening that was made from the previous round 4. So you just want to continue for the entire round 5. And actually for this technique, this is mirrored for as long as you want to create the rounds. You can switch colors, you can maintain the same color, you can go back to your waistband color as well. You can just continue how long or how short you want to make it. If you want to make the skirt, you can make a maxi skirt. For this particular one, I went to about around 25, or you can go to around 50, or you could go to around 10 and make a cowl. So you can make it as long or as short or however you want to create it. It's all up to you. So you just want to continue on creating your double crochet clusters right into those openings. So we're closing in on round 5. And what we're going to do is create our very last double crochet into that opening right before we create our slip stitch to close round 5. So we're going to create a slip stitch into that top stitch of the chain 3 to close. For this design, I wanted to change colors again, so what I did is I fastened off my work and I cut off that string. I'm going to bring in another color.
So I always find it very satisfying when you get to cut your yarn.
It is the best sound in the world.
Snip.
I love that sound. I'm like, oh. So close for it being done and created. I'm excited. Okay, so we're going to bring in our 3rd yarn color choice.
Now, Ashlee's, the projects that she made for us, she did 2 rounds per color. But she's been very encouraging and saying, do however many rounds you want. If you want to do bigger, wider stripes, do 4 rounds. If you want to go all the way with one color and use it all up and then switch to the next color, go for it. I love the freedom of this project.
Yes. It's a very much make it up as you go, like those adventure books. That's how I kind of treat my crochet.
Yeah.
So if you want to go like, you know what, I want to stick with that other color, or I want to add in more rounds, you can do that. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to add in my third choice because I like to keep it colorful. So I'm going to add in right where the 5th round was at that stitch. And we're going to create another chain 3 for our double crochet stitch. So I'm going to insert my brand new yarn color. And I'm going to do a chain 3. I'm going to join it, rejoin my hook, and I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to create that 1 double crochet into the very first stitch. And mirroring the previous round 5, we're going to be creating 3 double crochets into those openings. It's just continuing to mirror that method, but with brand new yarn to add a bit of a design to it. So I'm going to create 3 double crochet into the opening from the previous round 5 for round 6. You're just going to repeat that method for the entire round of creating the double crochet clusters, 3 into the previous round 5 openings.
So then round 7, same thing. You're starting the same way. You're just working into those spaces between the clusters to create new clusters. And then working however many rows are stated in your pattern for your size or for whatever length you want to work it to. And then what do we do when we get to the end? When we've decided that this is I think the last row of cluster stitches that I'm going to do. What do we do then?
Then we're going to slip stitch, and the very, very, very best part is you get to fasten off and weave in your ends. Or if you decide to, you can add a trim to it. And what I would like to do sometimes for designs, I like to mirror the very first round while doing a half double crochet into all of the stitches in order to give that finishing look. For this particular design, I like to leave it a little bit free because sometimes I like to come back to the design and add a little bit more length if I decide to. That's the best part of creating, is that option of being like, you know what, I want to turn this into, perhaps a maxi skirt, or I might want to shorten it. So, but it's entirely up to you. You can mirror the very first round of the half double crochets, or you can leave it at your double crochet clusters. It's entirely a fun, adventurous.
Up to the crocheter.
Yep.
Yeah. So for the pattern, there's no special finishing. There's no special stitch at the end. When you do that last round of double crochet clusters, that's it. Then we get to go back and do the drawstring.
The drawstring, yep. And now that's a very fun part too, because all you have to do is create a chain of however long of stitches that you want. If you want your drawstring to be super duper long, or if you want it to be a little bit shorter so it won't sit as long when you tie it, it's entirely up to you.
We do have some guidance in the pattern for you, but if that feels like it's too long, you can make it shorter, or if it feels like it's not long enough, you can make it longer. So I'm just going to do a quick chain and thread it through my little cuff, because I'm not making a whole skirt today. I'm just making a little cuff so that I could practice these fantastic stitches with Ashlee. And then I'll thread it through my little eyelets. You can see on the finished skirt here, here's the drawstring up at the top. It sort of hides in the color up there when it's tied, but that's where it is. The construction on this is so easy, Ashlee. I love it.
Thank you so much. And for the drawstring, I like to mirror my chain at the very beginning. For my waist measurements, I like to double it for the drawstring so that you make sure that you're covering, because when you create the drawstring and you weave it into the openings from round 2, it's going to cinch a bit. And when you tie it to create a bow to fasten it, it's going to leave a bit of room, just enough where it's not hanging too far. So what I like to do is I like to take those same stitch amount, double it, and then chain to that amount, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. You want that drawstring to be long enough to tie comfortably, but not so long that you look like you got shoelaces hanging out of your pocket.
Exactly.
All right, I think I'm long enough there. Snip. Now, did you do this with, did you use a crochet hook to help, or did you just use your fingers?
Now see, I use about 2 different ways to do it. I tend to like take the ends and I use a yarn needle and I like to guide it through the chain 1 of round 2 into the openings.
Huh.
It makes it a little bit more, I like to sew a lot, so in my head I'm like, oh, this is like a little fun kind of cinch up the drawstring part.
Oh,
of
that
it.
makes sense.
So I like to use that technique, and sometimes I actually like to use my hands as well because I love being able to utilize your hands as another tool within creating.
So if you don't have a yarn needle around, then you're okay. Oh, that worked really well.
Yeah.
And then I can just tie my little bow. So with the drawstrings, these tails, do you just weave them back up into the chain?
Yep, I just weave them right through that chain and I knot them and then I cut them and we're good to go.
Awesome. And then once you've got all this together, do you block this project, Ashlee?
For this particular one, I don't like to block. I like to have a bit of movement with the crochet stitches, so I tend to, for this particular design, I just let it kind of roam free.
I love that. I love that. Because it's a garment on a very mobile part of your body, it's going to move around anyway. So
Correct.
And because of the material that this yarn is made out of, because it's acrylic and nylon,
Yes.
blocking doesn't have a huge effect on it anyway. So if you were, say, to make this out of a wool or alpaca based yarn, you might want to give it a quick steam block just to help the stitches settle into place.
Correct.
But with this being acrylic and nylon, you're okay. Oh, I'm just going to tie a little bow in this. It's so cute. Now, I still have some ends to weave in, but
Yes, I love weaving in the ends. I love
She's-
using my yarn needle so much.
she's an anomaly. She loves weaving in her ends.
I do. I don't know why.
Look at that. A nice little cuff. I love it.
I love that. See?
So here's my favorite thing about this project, if I can show you. Ashlee and I are very different sized ladies. And this skirt fits Ashlee beautifully. But this will not fit me as a skirt at this size. But it does fit me as a cowl. So if you don't want to make a whole skirt, you can also make this fantastic winter accessory.
Yes. I love versatility. I love options. Look at that. Perfect.
Lovely. So we hope you've enjoyed making the first of our colorful crochet projects with Ashlee Elle. If you haven't yet, you want to visit MissouriQuiltCo.com to pick up your kit or visit the link in the description below. Make sure that you join us for episode 2, where we're going to make a fantastic little project bag, and episode 3, where we make the poncho. And we hope that you have had as much color fun with this project as we have. We'll see you in future episodes.
Happy crocheting!